In 1998, director Steven Spielberg delivered a cinematic masterpiece that not only defined the war genre, but also redefined how we view war on screen. Saving Private Ryan is more than just a film about World War II. It's a visceral journey into the heart of battle, a tribute to the sacrifices of soldiers, and a profound meditation on the human cost of war. As the title suggests, the film revolves around the mission to find and save one man, Private James Francis Ryan. But this mission is merely a backdrop to a larger exploration of duty, brotherhood, and the chaos of combat. Saving Private Ryan set new standards in filmmaking, influencing generations of directors and audiences. In this review, we'll dive deep into its themes, performances, technical brilliance, and the emotional impact it leaves on the viewer. The opening scene of Saving Private Ryan is perhaps one of the most iconic and harrowing in cinematic history. Spielberg thrusts the audience directly into the brutality of war with the D-Day landing on Omaha Beach. This sequence is not just a cinematic achievement, but a landmark in the portrayal of warfare. For about 20 minutes, we are immersed in a chaotic, terrifying, and utterly realistic depiction of battle. The deafening sounds of gunfire, explosions, the cries of soldiers, and the rapid cuts between the carnage create an overwhelming experience for the audience. The cinematography by Janusz Kaminski shines here, with handheld cameras, desaturated colors, and frenetic pacing that puts us right in the middle of the storm. The camera work is shaky, disorienting, and unpolished, matching the confusion of war. The unflinching brutality, the severed limbs, soldiers drowning under the weight of their gear, and the overwhelming hopelessness is a stark reminder that war is far from the glorified spectacle it's often made out to be. There's no glory, just survival. This sequence sets the tone for the rest of the movie. It doesn't just shock the audience, it primes us for the emotional weight we'll carry through the rest of the film. Spielberg uses this relentless portrayal of violence not to sensationalize war, but to make sure we, as viewers, understand the cost of every life lost on the battlefield. After the intensity of Omaha Beach, we're introduced to the central premise of the film. A group of soldiers, led by Captain John H. Miller, played by Tom Hanks, are tasked with finding Private Ryan, the sole surviving brother of 4 soldiers, and bringing him home. The mission is simple in concept, but deeply complex in execution. As the group ventures deeper into enemy territory, the film becomes less about the mission itself and more about the men on this journey. At its core, Saving Private Ryan explores the theme of sacrifice. Captain Miller and his team are essentially sacrificing themselves for the life of one man, and the film doesn't shy away from questioning whether that sacrifice is justified. Is one man's life worth the lives of several others? This moral dilemma is what drives the emotional weight of the film, and it's a question that lingers with the audience long after the credits roll. Tom Hanks delivers a masterful performance as Captain Miller. He is a leader who carries the burden of command, understanding the futility of war, but driven by duty and responsibility. His portrayal is understated, but powerful. We see the cracks in his stoic demeanor, his trembling hand, his quiet moments of reflection, and we understand that he's just a man trying to survive, just like the rest of his soldiers. As the team progresses through France, they encounter the horrors of war in different forms, from the innocent civilian casualties to the betrayals and the internal conflicts among the soldiers. Each scene is a reminder that in war, the line between good and evil, between heroism and cowardice, is often blurred. The film also delves into the theme of brotherhood. The soldiers in Miller's squad, played by an ensemble cast including Edward Burns, Tom Sizemore, Barry Pepper, and Giovanni Ribisi, form a bond that transcends the mission. They may question the orders they're given, but they trust each other implicitly. Spielberg captures the camaraderie of soldiers with both humor and heartbreak, showing that in the face of unimaginable horrors, it is their connection to each other that keeps them going. The characters in Saving Private Ryan are not just soldiers, they are individuals with their own fears, hopes, and personal conflicts. Spielberg does an incredible job of giving each character depth, despite the ensemble nature of the cast. Tom Sizemore as Sergeant Horvath is the loyal right-hand man to Captain Miller, embodying the toughness and determination needed to get through the mission. His pragmatism and experience balance Miller's more introspective leadership. Sizemore's portrayal is grounded, making Horvath the heart of the group. Matt Damon, as the titular Private Ryan, appears later in the film, but his presence is felt throughout. When we finally meet Ryan, Damon brings a fresh-faced innocence to the character, contrasting with the war-weary soldiers who've risked everything to find him. Ryan's refusal to leave his fellow soldiers on the front lines underscores the theme of sacrifice, as he too grapples with the cost of war. Giovanni Ribisi, as the medic, Wade, has one of the film's most gut-wrenching moments. His death scene is a heartbreaking reminder of the fragility of life in war, and Ribisi's performance captures the fear and helplessness of a man trying to save lives in the midst of constant destruction. The soldiers are not portrayed as superheroes. They are ordinary men thrust into extraordinary circumstances, and their development throughout the film reflects the psychological toll war takes on individuals. Spielberg avoids glorifying any one character, making sure that each soldier's journey feels personal and real. One of the standout features of Saving Private Ryan is its technical prowess. Spielberg and his team, particularly sound designer Gary Rydstrom and editor Michael Kahn, crafted a film that is as much about what we hear as what we see. John Williams' score, though subtle, complements the film's tone perfectly. The music swells at just the right moments, but it's never overbearing. In fact, much of the film relies on the absence of music, allowing the sounds of war to dominate. The constant barrage of bullets, the echo of distant explosions, and the haunting silence between battles create an immersive auditory experience that places the audience right in the trenches. The cinematography by Janusz Kaminski deserves special mention. His use of muted colors and desaturated tones gives the film a documentary-like feel, enhancing the sense of realism. Spielberg insisted on using practical effects as much as possible, which adds to the authenticity of the battle scenes. Every explosion, every piece of debris flying through the air feels real because, in many cases, it was. The special effects team also ensured that the horrors of war were presented in unflinching detail. The use of practical blood squibs, amputations, and other gruesome effects brings the audience face-to-face with the physical toll of war. Spielberg's decision to use natural lighting for many scenes adds to the sense of immediacy, making the film feel less like a Hollywood production and more like a historical document. What truly elevates Saving Private Ryan beyond a technical masterpiece is its emotional core. Spielberg is a director known for his ability to balance spectacle with deep human emotion, and this film is no exception. The film does not shy away from the horror of war, but it also celebrates the bravery, resilience, and humanity of the soldiers who fought in it. The final scenes of the movie, particularly the climactic battle in Ramelle and the flash forward to an elderly Ryan visiting Captain Miller's grave, are emotionally devastating. The juxtaposition of Ryan's guilt, wondering whether he has lived a life worthy of the sacrifices made for him, and the memories of those who gave their lives, leaves the audience questioning the cost of war on a personal and societal level. Spielberg's decision to interweave real historical events with fictional characters adds to the film's gravitas. While Private Ryan's story is not directly based on a real person, the idea of soldiers being sent to find a sole surviving family member during the war is rooted in fact. This blending of fact and fiction allows the film to serve as both a historical document and a powerful narrative experience. Saving Private Ryan is not just a war film, it's a tribute to the soldiers who fought, sacrificed, and endured during one of the most brutal conflicts in history. Steven Spielberg's meticulous direction, coupled with outstanding performances, groundbreaking technical achievements, and a deeply emotional narrative, makes it a towering achievement in cinema. 25 years after its release, the film's impact is still felt, influencing countless filmmakers and remaining a cultural touchstone for how we think about World War II. It's a film that doesn't just show war, but makes us feel